All right. Good afternoon, guys. It is Friday. Thank God. 11:48. So, about lunchtime now. I'm gonna go over some of my DraftKings picks for the weekend for UFC Fight Night. Fight Night. Leon Edwards versus Baloo Muhammad. Um, Kind of what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go through the main card, give you my picks on those, give you the values, their DraftKings price, and kind of go from there. Then I'll also uh, go through some of my undercard picks, just real briefly, see what kind of punt plays that you can go with for the weekend. So I'm going to start off with the Eric Andrews and Darren Stewart fight. So most of you guys know Eric Andrews played football at Alabama. He's got big power, big wrestling. He's got an underrated jiu-jitsu game as well. I like the value you get with him at 7,300 for the DraftKings value. And then he is going against Darren Stewart. And his DraftKings is 8,900. Now for me, that's just too rich. I know the reason why they have Darren Stewart up there at 8,900 price. He did come off that loss to Kevin Holland, but in that third round, he was really putting Kevin Holland uh, to the wood chip. Uh, and I see that's why they did it. For me, it's not worth it. He strikes a lot, but tries to grapple. And if he tries to do that with Eric Andrews, I could see that being a problem. I see Andrews actually kind of winning this fight. He could knock him out as well. But I kind of see him getting a submission win here. And I like the value at 7,300. I have him in my lineup personally. So kind of go from there. If you like Darren Stewart, it's just 8,900 is just too much for me to pay. Next up is Cape versus Nikolai. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not, but we'll go with it. Cape's priced at 8,700. Nikolai's at 7,500. I couldn't really find a lot of tape on Nikolai, so it was kind of hard for me to base my opinion on this fight. Now, Cape, he had a tough first fight in the UFC to make your debut against Pantoja, who is no slouch. He's top three, top four. I'm not looking at the rankings right now, but to have your debut against a top five guy, I mean and to look halfway decent. I mean it kind of looked like he was, he had that nervous jitters going into that UFC debut, um, which is understandable. I mean, most fighters do. And then not to top it all off, you're going against the top five opponent in your weight class. So I see Cape getting the victory here, 8,700. It's not that big of a price range for him. And I think you're getting great value here. He's got strong boxing. He's got good wrestling. You know, I see him probably getting a finish, maybe later in the second round, early third. Um, so yeah, I'm going with Cape. And again, guys, I'm going to structure this as my lineup as well if I was to pick just off the main card. Now, I don't have all my fights on the main card, but this is mainly where most people do their picking. The undercard does give you great value, a lot of knockouts as well. Um, the next fight is going to be Martinez versus Grant. Um, what more can you say? I mean, Grant, he's going to want to strike. You don't want to go to the ground with Martinez. I don't see a way for Grant to win this fight. And especially at 6,900, I think he's like the second biggest underdog on the card, I believe. If you want to go with a punt play on that, let's say your own accord, I wouldn't risk it. I think Martinez is just the better fighter, more complete fighter. I think he gets it done. I don't see it going to decision. I see probably Martinez getting a TKO submission victory right there. Next is Dan Ige and Tucker. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I think Gavin Tucker he's tough. He's tough as nails. both the guys, it's going to be a competitive fight. You know, Ige's, you saw how much punishment he could take against Calvin Kattar. Me personally, I'm staying completely away from this fight. I think it's going to go 15 minutes. Ige at 8,600 is not worth it for me. If you want to go with Gavin Tucker at 7,600, probably a good bet. I'm not sure what the odds are. Maybe John will go over that when his picks. But if you were me personally, I'm sure Tucker's the underdog. I would probably lean towards him more than anything, just for the value in that sense. Next is the co-main event, and that's Misha Sirkinov versus Ryan Spann. I'm all over Ryan Spann in this one. I'm going to actually kind of build my lineups around these two fighters. I believe, somebody's getting finished in this fight, with Sirkinov having an 87% finish rate, Ryan Spann having an 83% finish rate. In the last fight with Ryan Spann, he fought Johnny Walker. Most of y'all know, he had Johnny Walker rocked in that fight quite often, and then he ended up getting caught and finished. I believe Ryan Spann gets it done by TKO. I don't see this fight going to decision. I like Ryan Spann by TKO if you're doing any prop bets, and then I also like Misha Sirkinov by submission. I think if Misha gets a hold of him, he could definitely strangle him, put him to sleep. He's got his ground game is real good. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a submission victory as well. That's why I said, for me, I'm building most of my lineups have either one of these guys in it. Next is the main event. That's Leon Edwards versus Baloo Muhammad. Leon's at 9,000 for DraftKings. Muhammad's at 7,200. I like Muhammad as a good punt play at 7,200. I don't see anybody getting finished in this fight. I believe you're going to get a 5-round decision. With that said, Baloo's going to put the pace. He's going to be right in his face. He's not going to leave him the whole time. And Leon Edwards is going to just have to be that sniper that he is. He's going to have to pick his shots, buddy him up. Maybe if he does get a finish, if Leon ever gets a finish, it's going to be late 5th round, 4th round. It's going to be something like that. I don't see a lot of points coming out of this for your DraftKings lineup, because most of the time I do try to get some of the main event fighters in there because you do want those 5 rounds, but it's not going to be, a slobber knocker, let's say. You're not going to get a lot of the way the point scoring is in DraftKings. You're not really wanting to stack fights anymore. You don't want to have 2 fighters fighting on the same in your lineup. For me, I'm staying away from this fight. I like Leon to win it. If you looked at our earlier picks in the week, I think Leon gets it done by decision, probably split decision maybe, just because Muhammad does put a lot of pressure on you. He will be right in his face the entire fight and will not let him breathe. And, and it's just a matter of if Leon can be that sniper that he was against RDA. Everybody except for Usman really is who he just really picked apart. With that said, that's going to be it for the main card. I do have a couple picks here for you guys. If you want to, under the undercard, Rodriguez, I think he's going to be a good punt play. If he can keep that fight standing against Rani Yahya, I see a good chance of him getting a finish there. And then I actually have, for another one of my lineups that I'm going to be building a lot with, is going to have Witt in it. I think Jason Witt at 7,800. He took his first fight in the UFC. He took it on 48 hours notice. And I like, what he brings to the table. He's a James Krause guy. His grappling, I think he gets it done on the ground. He's got to avoid the big shot because Simsberg, or I don't even know how to say his name. He's he can crack. I watched a couple of fights he had, and that boy hits hard. But I like building my lineup around, even if you want to take either one of those fighters, I like them both. But Jason Witt at 7,800 is my punt play of the week. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoy Lopez locks later on today. I'm sure he'll get them up pretty soon. And follow us on Twitter. And I changed the Twitter handle as well, and that's at RHLH podcast. So right hand, left hand podcast. And that's at Twitter. And then also at our Instagram, RHLH podcast. And then follow us, give us a like, and subscribe to us here on YouTube as well. Enjoy the fights and enjoy your weekend, guys.